Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to an explosive review. Today we're going to be talking about a topic which is kind of basic, and that is gloves. Now, if you're a paintball or airsoft player, chances are you probably you'll have some experience with gloves. If you're just getting into it, you might be asking, what kind of gloves should I be buying? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Now, to most of you paintball players, something like this is probably going to look fairly familiar. This is just a standard, JT paintball glove. A lot of paintball players use something just like this. There's lots of different brands, but for the most part they're fairly similar. You've got usually a fairly breathable mesh on the back, and then some kind of either leather or, in this case, synthetic leather palm. Now, I use gloves just like this, in fact these very ones, for quite a few years, and they're okay. They do their job more or less, but to be honest, I'd rather not wear gloves than wear these. Now, part of my gripe is this business that goes on the back. If you look when I have these gloves on, this is really nothing but pure decoration. It's in the wrong spot to protect a lot of my hand, and to be honest, I find that these just get in the way. They're, they get caught in trigger guards, they do all that nasty business. You got little lens wipey bits here which I've never seen anybody ever use. These are slightly too small on me now, but in terms of my opinion on purpose-built, quotation mark, paintball gloves, I'm just not a big fan. I find that they're usually a little bit silly in terms of what's on them, and sure, they might look kind of cool if that's the look you want to go for, but I find that they're more form than function. Generally I found that the build quality on a lot of them, these ones have been quite good, but the build quality on a lot of them is subpar, so not exactly a big fan of these, and usually they're pretty overpriced. It depends on what brand you buy, but you're looking at anywhere between $15 and $40 for a pair of gloves that I just really don't find that functional. Now, on to my favorite pair of gloves, which are these right here. I use these for everything. I use them when I play paintball, I use them when I play airsoft, I use them when I'm working on my car, I use them just about all the time. Now, part of the reason that these gloves are great is the fit. I find that they fit well. You still have a fair amount of manual dexterity in them. They're built out of a fairly breathable material. However, when you feel it, it's almost like it has just a little bit of padding to it, and you don't end up with any of that fancy business going on in the knuckles. These ones have a synthetic leather palm. I believe some mechanics you might be able to get with a real leather, but I think for the most part it's synthetic, and I have been so impressed with the durability of these. It has that sort of low profile Velcro, and yeah, I just use these for everything. The other fantastic part about these gloves here is the price point. Now, generally they're going to come in for the more basic mechanics, which are these ones here, which are I think they call them the classics or something like that. You're going to be looking, in the low 20s range for these. You can buy more expensive mechanics gloves. I got these on sale. I think they're like 20% off, so I paid in the high teens, and they have just lasted and lasted. You see real military guys oftentimes sporting these or a variation of these, and they are just bang for your dollar wise, quality wise, durability wise, the absolute best gloves I've ever owned, bar none. So, next topic that we're going to talk about. Let's call these the super gloves category. Now these are a pair of Wiley X CAG 1 gloves. A lot of you guys in airsoft will know Wiley X in terms of making shooting glasses and that sort of stuff. Real Steel World shooting glasses, but they also make some gloves and other tactical gear. And these gloves also fall in the ridiculously expensive range, as in far surpassing, you know, Oakley and all that. These gloves retail for over $100, generally between $100 and $130 depending on where you're looking. Now you might be saying, why on earth would you buy $130 gloves? And the answer is that I didn't. I bought them at 60% off, so I paid $35 or something like that for these gloves. So nowhere even close to that ridiculous mark. Now, I will say that in terms of the fit and feel on your hands, these gloves are incredible. They even beat out the mechanics. It's all goat skin leather through the palm. You're looking at Kevlar and fire retardant material all on the back. It meets all of the military spec qualifications that you need, as well as having these nice hard knuckles, which these aren't the kind of gloves that I would use for paintball. These would be more what I would be wearing for airsoft. If I needed something that had a bit heavier protection, you know, maybe a bit cooler weather too. It is nice having these hard knuckles because getting shot in the knuckles does hurt, as well as smacking your knuckles off of concrete and buildings and things like that. But in terms of the fit, quality, finish on these gloves, they are absolutely superb. They beat out Oakley's as far as I'm concerned. I mean, everybody is entitled to their opinion, but these are just amazing gloves. And just one sort of gimmicky thing, you can still use them on your phone, which is, yes, kind of cool. I've definitely had situations where I wanted to check something and I'm able to do it, which is nice to not have to take your gloves off. But now you're asking, are they worth $110? Well, I mean, maybe if your life was depending on your gloves, but for most of us here in the paintball airsoft world, absolutely not worth the money. To 99.9% of people, I would recommend going out and buying the mechanics gloves. The only reason I bought these is because they were so dirty cheap for 40 bucks. Definitely worth it. These are awesome gloves for 40 bucks, but for 110, no. Manual dexterity is a little bit less than what I experience in my mechanic gloves, but that could also just be because they're not as broken in. I have a bit of trouble with my hammer decocking lever on my Mark 23, but time will tell. We'll see how they break in. So let's just sort of recap here. You're a new guy looking to buy gloves. You see the paintball gloves in the store for 35 bucks. Think they look pretty cool. Well, they might look kind of cool, but honestly, I fail to see a lot of functionality in them. These don't rate very highly on my list, so get rid of those. Mechanics gloves, by far the best gloves I've ever owned. They're good for, honestly, just about everything. You don't sacrifice much in terms of manual dexterity, nothing really to get in the way on your hands. Awesome durability, awesome fit. Obviously, just make sure that you get your sizing right, and I can almost guarantee that these will provide you a nice long life. And finally, we have our Wiley X CAG 1 gloves, the super gloves, the crazy expensive gloves. Are they worth it? No. For 40 bucks, absolutely. But, you know, it is kind of cool to own a pair of gloves that are of this quality, this kind of fit and finish, and, you know, everything serves a purpose. So, thanks for watching so much. Rate, subscribe. Any questions, I'll get to them in the comments. Follow me on Facebook, and this has been an explosive review.